Hector Lee Caballero, also known as the Horseman, is a veteran that is struggling to find purpose. After he got caught by the Alpha Corps in Horseman Welcome to Flores Park, he decided to give up his vigilante ways because, it was pretty much the only option that Alpha Corps gave him. Now in Horseman number 1, we learn more of his backstory. We see him fighting side by side with his brothers in arms in the Middle East, and they were good at what they did. After all, they were called a hunter-killer team known as the Four Horsemen. Now Hector is dealing with the loss of his fellow battle buddies and is struggling now as a civilian. He hates his job and can't even play golf without getting angry. Hector is feeling what a lot of vets feel out there, and I'm sure some vets out there can relate to what he's going through. Imagine being in combat fighting and seeing your friends die only to come home and feel like you have no purpose and you are lost. I myself had a friend who felt like that after he got out of the Marine Corps. But if you're Hector, then you just try to go out and kill some bad dudes until some folks come along and ruin the party, like Alpha Corps. Hector now tries to move up in the world, but he's too good at his job. But one day he sees a billboard that changes things for him. Even though Hector thinks it might be a trap, he goes along and texts the number that's on the billboard anyway. I mean, how bad could it be, right? Turns out the one who is looking for the Horseman doesn't want to hire him necessarily. He wants to finance him. Now, obviously, there is something fishy going on. I mean, from when we first see Cal Buxon, which is the man that is looking for the Horseman, we can tell this guy is up to no good. But what is his end game? He's made his money in tech, so what's his deal? I personally think he wants to get in the drug business if he hasn't already. What I think it is, Cal decides to manipulate Horseman, that way he could do his bidding and take out the competition. And since Horseman then declines Cal's offer, Cal takes a different approach. A 15-year-old girl who is a neighbor of Hector's is overdosed on fentanyl. She would thought it was Adderall to stay awake to do some homework. And I believe Cal is responsible for that. That way he can manipulate Horseman into becoming a vigilante again. And guess what? It worked. Hector begins to work on his base of operations, also called the Stable. He builds this souped up armored Humvee that looks pretty badass. The Horseman is ready to ride and gets intel from Cal regarding a buy between two parties under a bridge. Horseman is doing some recon before going guns blazing, and then who shows up to the party? Well, the Alpha Corps shows up and they stop the meet. And it turns out that the Tigers Niners, which is one of the parties involved, were buying girls, and like Horseman said, they didn't purchase them to wait any tables. Now Horseman realized that if he were to go full Rambo on these dudes, he would have put those girls in the line of fire, which is unacceptable to him. I mean, obviously, like, he would have killed them. Hector notifies Cal of the situation, and Cal realizes that they need to be ahead of the agencies and decide to buy up some confidential informants. And back at Hector's household, sometime later, I think it's like the next day, Patty, which is Hector's sister, says that she's been on a few dates, and at first I didn't think any of it until a fan somewhere, and I can't remember who said it, what if the man that she's been seeing is Cal Buxon? I mean, there is a possibility. What would be the purpose though? After I thought about it, it could be, some sort of insurance policy. Say Hector finds out what Cal's true intentions are, and he wants to break away from Cal. Cal can then use his relationship with Hector's sister to manipulate him to continue taking out, bad dudes. Now that's one theory. Like, we'll see if there's any validity to that theory later on. We next see Horseman doing some recon outside of Flores Park at night, since all drug manufacturing is made domestically rather than south of the border ever since Governor Sanders shut down the border. And you can see more of Governor Sanders and the Great War of Separation, that miniseries that's been going on, and I've actually been enjoying it very much. That's actually my favorite series going on right now. Anyway, after doing some recon, Horseman goes in, hammering his Humvee onto the bad guys, and an action scene ensues. My favorite part is an automatic shotgun, minigun, firing, killing some guys. That's probably not possible, but I'm not here looking for realism. That's just awesome. Now, unfortunately, the scene doesn't last long because I see those words at the bottom, to be continued. Now, I was left with wanting to see where things go from here. Now, we know that Alpha isn't joining the party because, like the Horseman said, this area is out of their jurisdiction. Now, I'm curious if the opening of the Horseman 2 would just finish the action scene with Horseman finishing off the bad folks, easily, pretty quick, or will there be any surprises like maybe an except shows up? There is a chance that the except that is on cover B of the Horseman number 2 is at this drug manufacturing site, and now Horseman has to find a way to take him down. So, that's one theory. I would totally be down for that. Now, I can't wait to see where the second issue takes the Horseman, and also, like I said, if there's any validity with the theory regarding Hector's sister, Patty, and that mysterious man that she's been seeing. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Chuck Dixon gives us, which, by the way, I believe you can still buy Horseman number 2, but it still hasn't fulfilled yet. Fulfillment is sometime this quarter, I believe, so anytime between now and at the end of the year, we should have the issue, hopefully. Now, I will go ahead and end this video here. I do thank you guys if you have stayed till the end, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care, y'all.